Okay, yeah, take it from me, they're not. Yeah, that's a mistake that could be devastating if you have all your bags, you know, a year's supply of food. And, well, no, so MYLAR is great. You just have to put it in a rodent-proof container. So until, like, that's why I have that ammo can with a lock on it. There's no way that rat is getting my food again, unless he figures out how to open the lock. And yeah, like, this is what it's come down to. Yeah, between the rat and me. Like I use a three combo lock, and you figure that out, so now I'm with a 4 combo. Like, yeah, no, okay. So yeah. Go ahead and open up that bucket, and yeah, and just, you know, not everybody's gonna get their own. We're just gonna use maybe like 2 or 3, and just, you know, sample of it. Yeah. Yeah, just take a look. You can take all of them out, see what different flavors there are, and maybe get a consensus of what we want to try. There's a couple of each. So the granola doesn't need hot water, and that has like a freeze-dried milk in it. So I want to give you guys some, you know, some flavor options here. Hey, Chris. That's all right. All right. So the killers for long-term storage are heat, oxygen, light, and moisture. So with Holmes that's the mnemonic, all right? So I've suffered through the terrible ones, so you don't have to. And these Mountain House Pantry, I don't want to overhype them because you guys know what good food actually tastes like, but anything at all after you haven't eaten for several days is going to taste amazing. So there's a few reasons why I prefer these over Patriot Supply and Peak and all the others. The shelf life is really unbeatable. 30 years. Look at the expiration dates on these. Problem with a lot of home canning, you have to be very careful with your canning because the moisture has to be just right. You can't just use an oxygen absorber and things. If the moisture is too high, it has to be 10% or less. So it's always easier to just throw money at a problem, and it's a lot simpler, especially if you're just getting started. So, you know, the difficulty with these presentations is that we're all at different levels. Some of them, I'm either going to lose you because I'm going over your head, or I'm going to lose you because I'm talking so basic that, you know, you knew this when you were 10 years old. So I'm trying to keep a happy medium here. And what I can tell you with canning is cans are great for if you have to shelter in place. But if you need to leave and you don't need to carry extra water, like you do in the cans, you filter the water wherever you go, and, you know, there's a bunch of ways to filter water on the go. So this is for your drinking water. This is an Nalgene Epic filter. The filter's built in, so there's no way you can cross-contaminate. All right, so that's just for drinking. But then for actual water filtration purification, the best is your Berkey. And some of you are familiar with the big Berkey. I keep the travel Berkey at home because it collapses in itself, and you can take that with you. And if you were to carry 6,000 gallons of water instead of 1 Berkey, you're going to have to bring a trailer. So the Berkey is absolutely fantastic. It's one of the few filters that you can actually filter pool water with, unless it's a saltwater pool. You can filter it from ponds, from lakes. You know, we have the water hazards here. We have at least one creek that runs through Santa Luz that has pretty much ideal water because it's moving water. It's not stagnant. And what you do is just bring like a water block or a water bucket down to that creek, bring that unfiltered water up to your Berkey, and then you keep the water in the Berkey. It automatically filters it through gravity, and then now you have water to reconstitute your meals. You have water to feed your pets. You have water to drink. I'm not going to talk too much about pets since nobody here except a couple of us have pets, and this isn't a presentation on pets, but I have another one on that. So the Ketadine Hiker Pro is a hand-operated portable filter, and you know, these are really important because you don't want to just rely on stored water. You want to be able to move, you know, be on the move, have access to a wealth of different water sources. You're going to come across a pond, you're going to come across a creek, but in your house you have, you know, the water heater, you have the toilet flush tank, not the bowl, the flush tank. You have all kinds of options there. And this is even better than the Ketadine filter because this is self-powered, USB powered, rechargeable. So the point is, don't just carry the water with you. Have enough to get you, you know, to the next filling station, but you're always better off having the ability to generate your own water, generate your own power, and to an extent where it's possible, generate your own food. So I have a video from this area just in the Village Green of what plants are edible. And you can use an app, and this is a good thing to do with your kids, grandkids if you have them. Go on a hike, bring your phone, take a bunch of pictures of different plants, and then go back home, and there's an app called Plant Snap where it'll identify what the plant is, and now you can see like, oh, that plant's edible. Get it confirmed by, ideally 2 different sources, because this can be obviously life or death if you're starving, and life or death if you get the plant wrong. Yeah, and then
there's also an app called Picture This. And
Picture This, yeah.
Pictures will go through the description if it's edible or not, which is really
Oh, that's even better. Yeah, perfect. Okay. Great tip. Take a picture of this. Okay. So it's a fun exercise to do. And I mean, what could be more important? So what we do with these is, you have an oxygen absorber in the pack. So that's why these are just so reliable, so indestructible, and they're a fantastic barter item. There's no way to really, well, I shouldn't say no way, but it's very, very difficult to alter these without it being just manifestly obvious. So this is a really critical item for obvious reasons for yourself, but also because during an emergency, whether you're at home or especially if you have to bug out, and everybody know what I mean by bug out? So GTFO, okay, yeah, so these weigh nothing. You can pack in so many just in a go bag, in several different bags. If you want to go full-on crazy prepper, you could start making your own caches. So I'm not going to say whether I do or don't do this when I go up Highway 5, but yeah, right. That's why I'm leaving, because you guys are all be at my house like, hey, can I have another beef stroganoff? Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, this might be a basic question.
Yeah, absolutely, go ahead.
So as you're kind of telling the stories and things like that, what is the use, what is the scenario assumption here? Because you're talking about like taking pictures with your cell phones. Are you assuming that there's going to be electrical power to recharge your cell phones? Like what's the use?
Oh, it's a great question. So I think you're asking 2 questions, like what's the use for the emergency food, or what's the use for the phones if you don't have power?
It's more like, well, I mean, it seems to me that when we start talking about emergency food and
Yeah.
some of these items that are self-powered or solar powered, I mean, a lot of these things, their use is going to be impacted by what scenario we're talking about.
Exactly.
Is it just a scenario where there's no gas, or is there no
I'm glad you.
is there no electrical power? Is there,
I'm glad you asked. So something like this, right? This is, the Venn diagram of negatives. So you still can use, your barbecue with gas, your fireplace grill, barbecue with wood, rocket stove, and your solar grill, unless there's no sunlight. Don't try too hard to understand this right now. Like you guys will have access to it later. It's a reminder of all the different options you have when there's no power. When there's no power, you can use your solar oven, but if there's no sun, then you can use something like your fireplace with a collapsible grill over your fireplace. So if you're stuck in your house, and think about how many things have happened since 2020 that had never happened before, that we never thought would happen, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And if you don't believe me, look at China today, that you could be stuck in your home and you're relying on the government to bring you food.